Welcome back to Chasing the Sun. I'm Eric, and this is part 3 of our California motorcycle trip. This week, we'll give you a final wrap-up of our entire trip. We'll share with you the maps of the roads that we were on, and we'll give you our opinion of each one of them. We'll also share with you our thoughts of each motorcycle from our big bike swap. If you've been liking the content so far, please subscribe to our channel to support us. You'll also be notified of our upcoming travel and motorcycle adventures. Now, let's get into it. So, that was an epic trip, I would say.
I agree.
What did we do? We did day one. We did we did 36 to up to Mad River, to the coast, Eureka, where you got your tire changed. We did the 101. That was boring in traffic, but that's okay.
By Pacific Motorsports.
Yes.
They were good guys.
Okay, Pacific Motorsports.
So that's a plug for the Eureka Pacific Motorsports.
There you go. Yeah, they helped us out in a pinch. Right?
Yeah.
And you called a lot of places.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then we went up north on the 101. We hooked back to the 299, and then we're home. That was probably like a...
You make it sound so easy, but
But it wasn't. That was a long night. We
That
got
was
home
a
in the
long day. We
dark.
came home the last hour we drove in the
that
dark.
was it a
9,
7, 8 hour day?
at least, because it was dark for the last hour of riding.
Yeah, and a lot of that is having to sit and wait for an hour and a half for the tire,
Yeah.
which was totally worth it. But yeah, it was late.
Oh yeah,
It
and
was
then we
long.
changed
We changed
your
yeah.
light bulb.
We got the
Yes,
tire
which-
done almost
wow.
almost
Yeah,
before
exactly.
the light bulb.
Thank you, Ducati engineers, for hiding us so well.
Took us a good hour to get this light bulb out and the new one in. But the out was
Nobody-
not so bad, but the in took quite a while. So-
Nobody's gonna steal the headlights off a Ducati. Let
No,
me tell you.
no,
It took
it's,
3 guys in an hour and a half.
just about, yeah.
All right, then day 2, you were down
I
on
was
the hill.
done. Yeah.
We did 299 east, east of Highway 5, and that was boring. I would say.
Scenery-wise, the volcanic.
Yeah. Then we went
rocks.
to Lassen National Park. That was nice.
That was
The scenic was nice.
interesting scenery-wise. The riding wasn't super exciting.
Yeah. And then we came back down through 36 Platina Road, which was very scenic up in the summit.
Yes.
The pavement wasn't great.
It was like, I wish I had a GS at that
Yeah.
point because it was so bumpy. Yeah.
It was tight, but it was bumpy, so
Or an
it
XR.
ruined it.
Or an XR. That's
Yeah.
right.
But it was very scenic. Then day 3, when
Wait a minute, and this is at the end of that day is when you got hit
Oh,
with the
yes.
fuel pump.
that's
Was
right.
it that day?
Yes.
Yeah, it was because you come back and said that
Yeah,
bumpy
yeah,
road
You were
Right.
up in the
may be
right.
a contributing factor to.
So,
Right.
so I had to limp my bike back, and yeah, we got pretty much for the last, I would say, what was it? At least an hour that my bike would constantly, it would run for a few Ks and then cut out again, run, cut out. So
It was
I
like,
was a
dun
little
dun
concerned.
dun. We really didn't know what was going to happen to Dork. If we were going to leave him or not.
7 o'clock at night, we had the fuel pump out of the bike, which I must say, kudos to Aprilia engineers. That was super easy. Once you've
Not
done
like
it
the
once,
Ducati guys.
it'll take you about 30
Can't
minutes,
change the
and you
headlight.
got that fuel pump.
Aprilia, you can dismantle
That's
the
right.
fuel tank
Place
completely.
parts,
Yeah.
put it back together at the same time as my light bulb comes out.
The eerie feeling though was putting your hand inside that tank. After
that
a
was-
it was. You would just put your hand in, and it's a molded tank on the inside. You can see all the molding, and you would get your hand to it, and it would hit this threshold where everything just felt
Warmer
and
than the
moist, like
body
sticking your hand
temperature.
in fresh baked bread or something, right?
Yes,
It was really
we
weird.
don't recommend it, guys, but it was a
Really
weird
weird.
feeling. Anyway, we read in the forums that some of the car fuel pumps are very similar. So we went and looked for a Ford Fiesta, 2001 Ford Fiesta. Couldn't find it, and the guy was super helpful at AutoZone. So we basically started reading more in forums whilst we were there. These two guys were doing the research, whilst I was, trying to figure out, talking to the guy and seeing what we can do. And we ended up with, what did we go home with?
It's a 1993
No,
Civic
3 or
hatchback.
2003.
Or it might be a 2003, but Civic hatchback fuel pump.
So we had a brand new fuel pickup net or filter, if you want to call
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and a fuel pump that was almost the same, but we made it fit.
Cleaned out both the flush lines.
Put it all back together, and by what, 9:30,
Yeah.
we started up the bike, and
Yeah,
I was back
there
in
you go.
business.
Yeah.
I was a very happy man.
Day 3, we left, and we had just that 4-hour day, and it was fantastic.
So we did the half loop on day 3. We did 299 west, then we did number 3 highway down to Hayfork, and that was your favorite stretch, I think. I'll let
Yes.
you speak on that. And then we came up to the 36, went up to Platina Road, took some nice drone shots because of the beautiful vista, and then we went down and continued on the Highway 36 through the rolling hills, which always makes us happy.
I love the rolling hills.
Today I did manage once to lift the front.
I was
I was
working
on
on
the,
it.
but you have to be on the gas.
Yeah.
You have to be
Well,
on the
that-
gas
that's
hard
what I did, yeah.
when you come over the hill, and you actually can feel the front tire.
My front
it's
tire
a
wobbled.
beautiful feeling.
But there was a point where we were stuck behind this truck, and we're just kind of easy going. And then the truck waves me by, and normally what I would do is I would get by these people as quickly as I can. So I dropped it a gear, and I went, right? And as soon as I went, I crested this hill, and when I say I went, I went. And I crested this hill, and my front tire came off the ground entirely. And there was a moment where it took it to come down, and you know, in your helmet, you're just like, what the? And then you're like, yeah! You come over the hill, and you just want to keep going in the air. But, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard in me really wants it to have,
Yeah.
but
The tires in the air.
yeah, absolutely.
No, it feels really fun when
Well,
the front tire lifts up slightly. It's
Yeah, it's fun.
fun.
And
Alright.
I wasn't expecting it at all. It just
That's,
suddenly it was there.
that's actually the fun part of it.
Yeah.
If you don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so day 4, we did the Forks of Salmon ride. So that route, we did 299 west. We turned off at Trinity Lake to take the Highway 3 north. And that was chilly like crazy.
The morning,
The first 4 hours
yeah.
were.
We left at what, like 8?
Yeah,
We
we
left
left
at
for
8
8
for a
weeks
long
back.
day.
was up at 8. Yeah.
It's October, what, 14th, right?
Yeah.
And it was cold, mainly because of the wind chill. You were reading 0 degrees or 2 degrees?
The lowest I saw was 2 degrees, I think. And now, to be fair, when you stop your bike, it goes up to 5 or 6, as high as 7. But when the wind is hitting the temperature sensor,
That morning wasn't that enjoyable. Highway 3 was nice. I think if we weren't frozen, it would have been beautiful.
we
Yeah.
did find a place to stop, and that was going through it. We had trouble finding any place to just sit and have a coffee and warm up or wait it out. We couldn't find anything until we found the store.
Little gas
And
station.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
literally called the store. And I don't know much more about it, except for the hardwood floors are
Original.
the original barn floors, and good coffee and lots of
We were
fuel.
very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, we
because
were, but you just burned your fingers around a cup of coffee.
warm up. Yeah.
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 That felt good.
That was on Highway 3 just south of Callahan, about 15 miles maybe.
And after that warm up there with the coffee, we started to see a consistent 10 degrees,
Yeah.
12 degrees,
Yeah, it warmed.
as
By
low
that
as
time it
7.
was 10 or 11 o'clock. So
So we got up to Etna, and then we turned off on the, I think it's the Sawyer Bay Road, which basically takes you up to Forks of Salmon. And that was recommended by a few people on the forums to go check out. So we did, and it was a tight set of roads. 1 lane, often 1.5 lanes sometimes. Pavement wasn't great, but man, was it scenic, especially when you got up there.
it was, yes. A little unnerving, the 200, 300 feet drops on your side, and the road was, what, 10 feet wide with no barrier. And so if you looked over the edge, there was the drop down to the river, like a straight drop. So that made me go to the far left side on the uphill side.
Yeah.
I rode
Don't be distracted.
and slow down actually, because that was. I thought if anything happens and you go over the edge, that's it.
Now see, I was on the other side. I was really actually enjoying that ride because we were like, there was a drop off on the side and the hillside on this side, and there was a lot of turns, and they were blind corners,
Yep.
and it was single lane road. So I was swooping far right so that I could see around the corners, and then I saw as soon as there was nothing around the corners, I would
That's
goose
why
it
they
and go,
call you
right?
Luke of Hazard.
Yeah, the Luke of Hazard.
The Lukes
but
of Hazard.
I really liked going through that. I really liked going through before that when we had the river on the side. But that whole single lane traffic with the little pullouts here and there for other cars to get through.
Super scenic. The
Yeah.
roads, it wasn't a fast ride by any means, but very scenic,
Very scenic,
fun.
yeah.
And
Fun. Do it for
a lot
that.
of
Recommend
the
it.
curves, yeah.
Recommend it for sure.
And then after that, then we hooked onto the 96 and we went south to get to 299 east back home.
Yeah.
Now 96, I remember you guys liked it a lot. That was some nice twisties, not like big sweepers, not super tight. It's kind of a medium, I would say. Clean pavement, not many cars.
Yeah.
That was enjoyable.
Long, like you could go at 100 because they were so slow and swooping. That was beautiful. Yeah.
And we were debating at that point if we wanted to continue around the 96 or shorten the trip by going another way.
Yeah, we went north to 96. That would have been a full loop around Happy Camp and then over to I-5, but that would have been a long day. Or we can go south down to 96, 299, and then cut it short. So that's what we end up doing.
So the 10 minutes before, maybe 15 minutes before we hit the Hoopa Indian Reserve, where we have
Burger Barn.
the Burger Barn.
That's
Yeah.
Decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good food.
Their
That was
small
good food.
burrito was not really small.
Nothing they made was small. Not by.
Yeah.
So, but 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before going up that highway was a good stretch of fun.
Yeah.
So some nice scenery, but literally just a lot of, you're not going to have your bike upright.
Yeah. And then the final day today, we basically did the reverse of the short loop that we did. So we went 36 north on 3 over to 299 and then back.
Yeah.
Given all those roads, what would you say is your favorite?
Without a doubt, number 3. Number
Yeah.
3 was by far the most fun day. Just it's just beautiful. It's all tied together. You just go left, right, right,
Yeah.
left, and then there's long turns. So you go left, right, left, right. It's beautiful. Like I could do that all day. Like if that was, and it's not just for a few kilometers. You can spend half an hour of that where it just all ties together.
Yeah, the length of time.
It's about 20, 30 miles. I think.
And not fast sweeps. They
they're-
you go
they're definitely
70,
tighter.
60 kilometers an hour, but it's the perfect radius. It's just so much fun.
All right, Luke of Hazard, which one's yours?
Well, I'll need your help to fill in exactly what road because
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention. I was
No
just
problem.
watching yours in front of me. So
Which was your favorite stretch?
It's worse things to watch.
there's worse things to watch. So my favorite, it depends on how I want to play it out. Like the road today, the number 3 coming back. So that was like, it was nice. It was good quality road, and like you say, lots and lots of turns. A little bit of dirt kicking around, right?
Yeah.
But not enough to
Not bad.
really worry about. But now, I also really liked coming up through Salmon Forks. I liked the road up to Salmon Forks,
Very
and when we
scenic.
left the Salmon Forks. I didn't mind that road at all. I didn't mind. I loved looking down on one side,
The drop
and I
offs.
loved some of the blind corners there because it was really. It was not just isolated. It was like it was abandoned. There was
Yeah,
we
you-
didn't see another car that whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would've
If
been-
it wasn't so cold, that's really my bias. Is when it was that cold, I didn't like anything. I didn't like anyone. I didn't like it. You could all go to hell.
It's hard to relax when
You
you're
like the
all
ones
hunched
from
up on your
12
bike.
to 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Any road from 12 to 3 is
Yeah.
good.
It's either from 12 to 3 or from 12 degrees Celsius to maybe 24, 25. Anything up in there, I'm pretty okay with it.
How about you, Eric? What
Yeah.
was your favorite road?
It's tough because they're all so different. It really
Yeah.
depends what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Got the Forks of Salmon for the scenery. And, you take those slow because you're enjoying the scenery anyways. 3 is like just tight twist after twist, and you get a lot of exercise on those. And
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had a sport bike for number 3.
Oh.
Yeah. But, a 299 is great because there's lots of big sweepers. So if you feel like doing fast, big sweepers, nice. But I would
My reach.
probably, you know, if I had to pick one, I would probably pick 36. And that's because 36 actually has a mixture of everything.
That's the waves.
That's
Yeah,
you
the-
first start off with the rolling
turning,
hills,
Yeah.
then it gets tight. Like the pavement in the beginning wasn't great because it's a lot of tar snakes, but it cleans out afterwards. It gets tight after the turn off to Hayfork, up until you hit Mad River, that little town. And then after Mad River, there's another tight section. Then it goes wider again. So, and it's long. So that's why I would pick 36, just because it's got a mixture of everything. And if I had to do one road, that's probably the one.
The last 20 minutes before we hit that turnoff is really, really fantastic on that road.
Yeah.
So you got vistas out the side,
Yeah.
and there's not really a lot of point where you're upright. Like it's all turns again. There was so much of the it's all turns. That was on all the roads, right?
Yeah. I'd say like number 3, the pavement was the best, especially the first day. You know, the pavement was better on the first day
Yes,
than
because there
than
was no
today.
construction. And,
Yeah.
Number 36 had a bunch of construction, so that wasn't great. But yeah, I would say that's
And-
probably my pick.
And one thing I must say, kudos to all the California cars and truck drivers.
Oh yeah.
We've had, I don't think, a single car or truck that wouldn't let us pass.
Yeah, they went out of their way to just get
to,
out
to,
to turn
to
out.
let us. We were never stuck
Great.
behind anybody for longer than a few minutes until there was an opportunity for them to pull over. They would do it, and that is awesome.
Yeah.
You
And-
would not see that in Canada as much.
No.
Canadian drivers feel all a little too entitled, I think.
But the fantastic thing was not just they didn't move to the side in pullouts. They moved to the side everywhere.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
they
anywhere you can. Yeah.
and a lot of times you would like the Mustang with the dog out the window, the convertible,
They
right?
would wave.
We hit a straight spot and he put his hand out the window and he's just come on, get it
Yeah.
going.
No,
And
that was
the
great.
2 trucks with the trailers, because that
Same
guy
thing.
at the front, he was giving us the thumbs up as we went by. He was like, it wasn't just that they were being courteous; they were
You know,
happy to see us and happy to let us go. That was
fun.
fantastic.
yeah.
I wish we had more of that in BC.
Yes.
We have the slower traffic keeps right, and even then they don't keep right. They have a whole lane the entire time,
Oh yeah.
and they don't keep right. These guys will pull into somebody's driveway to get the hell out of your way. It was fantastic.
You know, the other thing I should mention is that the traffic was very quiet. Like it's
Yes.
great.
Light traffic. Yep.
No matter if it was weekend, it was a long weekend actually also, so I expected a bit more traffic.
Our long weekend, but not theirs.
No, Columbus Day.
It's
Thanksgiving.
Columbus Day.
Thanksgiving
on
for us.
Monday.
Oh, okay. I
Columbus
didn't
Day.
realize.
So I was surprised, but it's probably because of the roads that we took. Like 299 is the bigger road, so there's a bit more. But 36, number 3, Forks of Salmon, it was quiet. No cars, no cops. It was great. We had it all to ourselves. It's like our playground.
If you had the choice of any bike available, Eric, what would you think for this trip would have been the perfect choice in your mind? That's of course all subjective. What do you think about your bike? How was your bike? How did you think your bike went this trip?
Before we get into this, what led to this is we did basically a swap around of the different bikes to get out of our comfort zone and stuff, which led to a lot of shopping for bikes last night by Eric and Georg.
Craigslist. Just to clarify, Eric has a Hyperstrada, Luke has a BMW S1000 XR, and I have an older Aprilia RSV with a superbike conversion with a high handlebars.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if there'd be a perfect bike, but because they're all so different. Like all 3 of our bikes are so different. But I think if it's for this trip, because we took up a van, like took it up with a van,
Yeah.
I would have definitely brought a sport bike. You know, of the 3, definitely I would take yours because the roads are so tight and so much nicer for a sport bike type of motorcycle. I think my bike could not keep up in the tight twisties. It was nimble and it did a lot of things, but I just didn't have the same confidence on it. And I was running really thin tires on my treadwear.
That's a whole other story. 2 out of 3 guys came here with bold tires.
But we had to bet who would go first.
But to be fair, both of those guys had a working fuel pump.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
So,
But, yeah, for this trip, I would bring a
sports
sport bike.
You would bring a sport bike?
I would. Like any of the sport bike would be great for this. I really like yours. It's so smooth in the corners. The power is great, and it's nimble enough for the tight turns. So that would have been my pick for this type of road. Okay. Because I'm bringing up in the van. Now, if we had to ride it up, it's a different story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke, what do you think?
Well, I like the idea of a sport bike as well, but riding yours bike was, and I think it's just because it wasn't sized for me. The first day that we did it, I had a lot of trouble, and I had ridden Eric's bike first, and the first thing I had done was sat there and tried to switch gears without putting in the clutch, because two clutches.
He's spoiled by BMW.
So it took a little while to get that.
Good shifter.
And then from there, I moved over to Jorg's bike. And when we rode it today, I had a lot of fun with it. Like, I felt like I always thought I need to keep up to Jorg, but honestly, if that bike didn't want to be kept up with, there's no way that I'd be keeping up with Jorg, just because it's
not
so
with me,
nimble.
with the bike.
With the bike, yeah.
The bike is I agree. I've ridden the other bikes, and the RSV feels. It's so precise.
It's so nimble.
You look where you want to put it, and that's
there.
where it's going. And if the corner tightens, you just tighten. It feels very precise and very easy to get through a turn.
And it doesn't feel like you're in a heavy lean, even when you're in a heavy lean.
Yeah.
For me, if I was going to go a sport bike, which I think for a lot of it, I would like that. But I would, once again, I want an old man sport bike.
Yeah.
I felt myself folded over.
Yes.
And it could just be the way that...
What are you, 6'4"?
I'm 6'1".
One.
Almost
okay,
2.
I'm 5'4",
so yeah.
Physically, it's a small bike for you. Just yeah.
But we're asking what bike, not what bike out of all of ours. I think I would take like any of the old man sport bikes for something like this. I keep thinking that the new 1250 GS would be beautiful.
RS.
That's right.
Yes.
The new
That's what we all
RS.
three agreed. We all very curious about the 1250.
I believe it might be the perfect bike too, but I haven't tried it, so I can't say.
Yeah, exactly. But when I've sat on it, it feels like it's a very forgiving riding position that you could easily lean into if you wanted to.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm
200.
I was very impressed with Luke's XR. It was so comfortable. It's like riding riding this couch. This returns.
These are nice.
With a lot of text.
It's a beautiful bike. It's the wind protection was. I noticed that a lot. There was hardly any wind on my body riding.
You look good on it too.
I did. Hard not to.
The bike.
It's
he means the bike.
It's the hair.
Yeah, it's the hair. What I did notice first time and today again is the buzzing in the handlebars and the foot pegs. Today it didn't feel quite as pronounced, maybe because I was ready for it, I was expecting it, but there's definitely a vibration going on that might put me off of that style or that bike. My bike, I think I would choose my bike for this trip if it could only be a little more comfortable on the seat. My seat's like sitting on a piece of plywood. It's really hard, and after about 2 hours riding time, my behind starts hurting.
Yeah.
Bike, if I had free choice, I would love to try 2 bikes for this trip. One would be the Multistrada. I'm very curious about
if you like the upright of the
Ducati
S1000.
Multistrada, and the other one is the BMW 1250 RS.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think we all three agree we would love to try that RS to see what that feels like.
I've been going over numbers in my mind to see if I can somehow make that work for next summer.
So I was just going to say, a year from now, we'll see if we can get an RS.
So yeah, exactly.
Okay. Maybe 3 RSs.
3 RS. Do we really?
So this is our last day for our trip. Very good trip. We're super happy. Now we're loading the bikes back up. We hope you like this 3-part motorcycle adventure series. Please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll have new videos weekly every Friday.
All right, complete.